Hi, I'm Anthony Coxham, President of the Australian Chiropractors Association, and welcome to my July President's Message. Recently, there's been some conversation on social media about the direction of the ACA, and I want to address this by asking the question, what is the role of a peak body? As we know, us chiropractors are a fairly diverse bunch, separated in many ways by philosophical slants. At the extremes of these ends, quite often there can be fierce opposition, where the differences are highlighted rather than the common ground. As a consequence, we often form tribes, connected by philosophical viewpoints or techniques or other things. Now, tribes are a great use and have a valued role to play, but there's a difference between a tribe and a peak body. If you want your tribe to be the peak body of chiropractic in Australia, then there will never really be unity within the profession, and chiropractic will never reach its full potential. Right from the outset, the ACA has set our vision clear. We're not about identifying with a particular slant or a particular type of chiropractic philosophy. Our centerpiece is all about professionalism and patient-centered care. So as long as you provide the type of care that is most appropriate for the patient, abide by the common laws of the land, by the CBA Code of Conduct and by the ACA Code of Ethics, then you have a place at the ACA. We're here to support you practice in the way that you see fit. And that means if you're a chiropractor that likes to use the term subluxation, then that's absolutely fine, as long as there's an understanding of how the subluxation is viewed by most other health professionals. If you identify yourself as a vitalistic chiropractor, that's absolutely fine. Most chiropractors that have been in practice for more than 5 minutes recognize that there is more to gain from chiropractic care than just for the treatment of low back pain and headaches. But what we can't do is extrapolate that out and say that every person needs chiropractic care all the time, or make any other unvalidated claims about chiropractic care. Ultimately, we need to respect the evidence. We need to take an evidence-based approach into our care, particularly when it comes to advertising or making claims. And while that evidence is there to inform and guide us, it is not there to constrain us. So that common practice will involve conversations with patients about the evidence related to their case. But as long as you do a great history, a great examination, discuss the benefits and risks, inform the patient in an appropriate way, set outcomes and goals that are measured over time, then really this is where the evidence becomes useful, but so too does your experience and the patient's philosophical point of view. The ACA is about improving the cultural authority within Australia. We're about having conversations with stakeholders. We're about approaching members of the public for the first time and introducing them to chiropractic care. As much as we like to think differently, government and members of the public aren't interested necessarily in chiropractic lexicon or what particular tribe you belong to. What they're interested in is, are you effective? Are you safe? Can you offer them value for money? And can you assist them with the particular concern that they have? And that's usually something to do with pain and disability. It's our job through programs like Consider a Chiro to get first-time patients to your door. It's your job as a chiropractor to expand that chiropractic message appropriately based on the individual needs of that individual patient and your philosophical slant on health. In a recent TAC article, we asked the question, if not the ACA, then who? I really can't think of anyone else in Australia that could have managed Safer Care Victoria or the COVID crisis, which we're still under, in the way that the ACA has. It's our job to do the big stuff. It's your job to do the important stuff one-on-one with patients. It's been really interesting through this time to note that the ACA continues to grow, particularly with younger chiropractors, and this has occurred through the COVID period. It's also pleasing that during this period, our satisfaction rate with members remains high at 85%. Now, a really interesting model to look at chiropractic in the world is Denmark. In Denmark, they are fairly hardcore evidence-based chiropractors. As chiropractors, they do virtually no advertising whatsoever. And yet, 1 in every 4 children under the age of 1 have seen a chiropractor. That's 25%. Now, we don't have the statistics for that 0 to 1 age in Australia like they do in Denmark, but we do know in the 0 to 18 group, it's about somewhere between 8 and 10% of those children have seen a chiropractor. That number would be much, much smaller if we talked about just that first year of life only. And I guess the message from here is that really for us to be successful as a profession, it's really about having a strong peak body. It's about making good relationships with stakeholders and government. It's about you just continuing to do the great job that you always do. If we all do this, then chiropractic and the community prosper and we all win. Now, very, very briefly, I just want to Consider a Chiro, which finally gets to start this month with our internal launch. If you haven't already done so, please go onto the ACA website and register for the webinar, which will be happening on Wednesday evening at 7:30 p.m. That's Wednesday the 15th of July. The internal launch will happen with chiropractors in July, with the external launch being a part of Spinal Health Week in August. There's good things to come. Thank you so much for your support of the ACA, and please encourage your colleagues that are not ACA members to join. And I look forward to talking with you again on my next President's Message.